we'll get into one more tutorial on tour 4. Alright, now this hole could be a bit tricky because you might have to use the rough on that second pad. This one you want to try to get it as far up into the left as possible, but try not to overpower it to maybe get it into the sand or the rough on that second pad. Now, as long as you have wind going forward, you shouldn't relatively need to give it extra power. If you have wind coming at you, you might have to give it a little extra power. Now we know that for your extra mile mic, it's 2.4 per ring. So basically we have 1.8, which means it's going to be less than one ring. So now for this one, I won't even make really much of adjustment here. Like half, if that. This one I might want to get it just a little bit up higher, but the wind will carry it a little bit, so I'll just give it just a tiny little bit. As you can see, we're pretty close to where we want to be. Now for the opponent's shot, he's using the Viper, which if I'm not mistaken is close to somewhere between 1.5 to 2 per ring. I think he made an over adjustment there. He might land in the sand or barely reach the rough. Yeah, see, he barely reached the rough. So we're going to be using the Cataclysm on this shot. It's 2.4 wind per ring. We have 3.9, so it's almost, you could say almost 2 rings. So we'll play it over here. You can see here it'll hit, so we're right there. So we have 3.9, we'll say almost 2, we'll say 1.5. So there's 1, there's the half. And we need a lot of curl in this one. That should get us right around hitting the rough and slowing down. Exactly what we want to do. Oh, he went wide. I was hoping he would have made that so we could have went to a playoff. Alright, so we win this one. Let's see if I can go back and look at the replay here so I can show you a little bit more of what I meant about the rings a little bit. Alright. Alright, so like right here, let's do another wind tutorial here. Alright, this was the last video that I did, so I'll explain to you a little bit more about what I meant. Alright, now that's where we want the ball to land. So now, if you saw, the extra mile was 2.4 wind per ring. So with 5.7, if you double that 2.4, that's 4.8. So it's basically saying 2 rings with like maybe half. So if you see, we're aiming with the yellow. We want the yellow, the center of the yellow to land. So I'll bring it down. The beginning of the orange would be 2.4. The beginning of the blue would then be 4.8. So we'll get it a little bit past the orange to where the blue is, like the center of the blue. And you'll see here, went down 1 there, and then a little bit of the blue. Exactly what I did there, and it landed exactly where we had placed the yellow one. And the same with let's see here. So we had 4.8. That's where we wanted it to land. All right. So the cataclysm was 2.4 per ring. So if you multiply that by 2, gives you 4.8. So you know you had to make a 2 ring adjustment. So the start of the orange would be 2.4. The start of the blue would be 4.8. So you bring it down. Always turn your camera to where the wind is facing up. So you know you just got to pull it down. So you don't have to make any sideways adjustment, anything like that. Just going down. So right at the start of the blue. And that's what I did. That was the one right there at the start of the blue. And as you can see, that adjustment that I made was perfect. I just gave it a little too much backspin, but it was heading right to where it needed to go. Any questions? Feel free to hit me up.